It's about that Dan time, Walker.
He's the hardest working Dan in show business. The Dan with the plan. The Poison Promo. Hailing from Austin, Texas. This is Dan the Man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Dan the Man making his way down to ringside tonight. And what'd you say time it was, James?
It's that Dan time. He's the dopest man to come out of Austin, Texas since Willie Nelson.
People of Marlin, Texas, hello. I am, as this man so faithfully reported, Dan the Man. The hardest working Dan show is the Dan with the plan, the Poison Program. It's great to be Dan, but it's a lot of work. It's hard. What does it mean to be Dan the Man? I'll tell you. It means being the smartest man in the room, the prettiest, and damn sure the toughest wherever I go. And now, here in Marlin, Texas, I'm probably the smartest person in this entire zip code. Let's be honest. And I'm going to show you exactly what that means, because my genius has not been applied to science. It has not been applied to the liberal arts, no. It applies to this very ring. Yes, you're in for a show. Kevin Falcon! Uh-oh. I see you there. You talking bad to me right now? You want to fight right now? Okay, all right, you know what? Pac Ortega, brother, you might as well pack your bags and get out of here, because we found a new match. Kevin, hop in this ring, buddy. Let's do it. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pac Ortega making his way down to ringside. And James, you have to imagine that Pac Ortega did not take too kindly to the words of Dan the Man.
You might not like the words of Dan the Man, but you've got to understand that sometimes the truth hurts.
Well, we are going to find out the truth. We are going to find out the reality tonight. Who is the stronger competitor between Pac Ortega and Dan the Man? That's something which will be settled right now live in a Hot Pro Wrestling.
Pac Ortega looking pretty confident going into this match. Two very, very confident men, to say the least, in Pac Ortega and Dan the Man.
I will run him over. You run, baby. You're gonna run your mouth. What's that? You're gonna run your mouth. Oh, let's find out. Let's find out. Let's find out. Because you don't belong here. What's up, you, huh? Ring the bell.
Bell has sounded and we're underway.
I'm not scared.
James, I got to tell you, I'm very excited for this matchup. Dan the Man, he's been saying a lot of things on social media, as we know a good Dan to do, but Dan the Man has also not exactly made friends in the locker room recently, and he hasn't exactly been the kindest to me, and I'm just saying, maybe it's time that someone step to Dan the Man like Pac Ortega and put him in his place.
It's the name of the game, Walker. It's not about making friends, it's about making money. How do you make money? You win. It's as simple as that. Dan the Man has been laying out the challenges, talking smack, getting people riled up, and taking advantage of their eagerness to jump into conflict with him. That's what Dan does. He's a master Dan manipulator. He can do it all. He'll have you playing right into the palm of his hand.
Did you just say Dan manipulator?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to Google that one. But one thing's for certain, Dan the Man definitely well-versed in the mind game side of the professional wrestling battle. And, I know professional wrestling is an intense physical contest, but there is a mental side to it as well. Dan the Man knows exactly how to operate on that level. But Pac Ortega thinks he might be the smartest man in this matchup, getting out of the way of that one. Ortega, clothesline, flattening Dan the Man. Got it popped up here with the headbutt.
So Pac Ortega's quick. Jet Lion was quick too, and we saw what that got him.
Ortega now coming out of the corner here. Big uppercut to Dan the Man. Seeing these repeated strikes back and forth. Ortega, he's calling his shot like he's Babe Ruth here, James.
Sometimes you call your shot and all you do is let your opponent know what's coming. Dan the Man, the Dan with the plan, one step ahead all the time. Taking Pac Ortega for a ride and bringing him back in. Is there any harder way than that, Walker?
Well, I can't say that I know of a harder one, that's for certain. Dan the Man is choking the life out of Pac Ortega here on the ropes. There's one thing I know about Dan the Man, it's that he's always going to take the underhanded route. He's always going to take the path of least morality. But Dan the Man, he's walked away recently with a couple of victories. He's starting to pick up a little bit of momentum underneath his belt here, James. What do you think it's going to take to turn the tides if you are Pac Ortega?
Pac Ortega is going to have to keep doing what he started with. His speed was what got him there, but he's got to keep an eye out. Dan always has a plan in his back pocket he can pull out from just about any situation. He is a thinking Dan's wrestler. And he's got great kicks too. Lighting up the spine of Pac Ortega.
Oh, trying to go for the snapmare there. Pac Ortega, look at these hard strikes from Pac Ortega.
Ortega's lighting him up.
Oh, whipping his hair down to the mat. Go over the cover here is Dan the Man, too. No, it's going to take more than that.
You talk about this path of at least morality as you phrased it, but again, it goes back to our point earlier, excuse me. It's all about winning and collecting that pay. That's all the name of the game. It's wrestling. It's not about friendships. It's not about doing things the correct way, the nice way, the polite way. You do what you have to do to win if you want to make money.
I've known plenty of kind individuals who have made money in professional wrestling, James. It's completely possible to do without stooping to the lows, which Dan the Man seems to find himself consistently stooping to.
It's not a necessity, but it certainly helps. Pac Ortega firing back with a chop now. These two trading in the center of the ring. Dan staggered by that punch. Some heavy Dans on him. A left and a right Dan. Pac Ortega missing that swing. Dan the Man with a sleeper hold.
See an absolute brutality out of Dan the Man here tonight.
Just trying to slowly choke the life out of Pac Ortega like a Danaconda.
Danaconda. See that vice-like grip, though. Dan the Man, he's sitting onto it, and Pac Ortega, he might have no choice but to fade, tap, or snap.
Those 18-inch Danacondas wrapped around Pac Ortega's throat.
The ropes. Pac Ortega sends Dan the Man.
But he still won't let the grip go.
Finally, the grip has been broken. These elbow strikes here from Pac Ortega, trying to create a little bit of separation. James, now both of these men find themselves at a standstill. Pac Ortega, clothesline, sending Dan the Man over the top rope to the outside.
Dan down, Dan down.
Pac Ortega, he's setting up for something big here. Dan the Man, look out for trouble. Big top cross body. Pac Ortega is fired up here tonight, James.
Rightfully so, a big move there could change the momentum ever more in his favor. But he's got to be careful not to pander to these fans and get right back on Dan the Man. Oh, he's got him in front of a fan now.
Not exactly a fan of Dan the Man here, James.
Dan the Man now being repeatedly struck by a fan. That fan needs to be kicked out of here. You can't be assaulting a fine, upstanding Dan like that.
It is a Dan travesty that did not go on any longer, James. Dan the Man finds himself on the offensive here. It seems as though every single time Pac Ortega gets back to a vertical base, builds up a little bit of offense, Dan the Man finds a way to counteract it.
That has been the game plan all night long. That's why I call him the thinking Dan. He's always 1 or 2 steps ahead of his opponents. Got that choke slam in position now. Pac Ortega, knee to the face there. Dan the Man stunned, clothesline takes him down. Back elbow there. Sending Dan the Man into the corner. Dan out. Pac Ortega with a drop kick, sending Dan the Man back, and cannonball Pac Ortega.
What do you mean back? Gotta get him in!
And the Man taking a moment here to breathe on the outside after being absolutely crushed by Pac Ortega's weight.
You wanna help him?
And getting a chair here, he needs a moment to sit down and collect his thoughts.
Watch out for the chair, babe.
Dan the Man is carrying this chair around ringside here tonight, James.
Just trying to find the perfect place to take a seat.
Bring it in!
And this official, he's trying to take a seat personally. Dan the Man ducking the clothesline for Pac Ortega and a shot to the nether regions.
Playing chess with the referee, putting him in perfect position for that choke slam lift onto the knee. Pac Ortega's spine has been realigned by the best chiropractor in Austin, Texas, Dan the Man. He's taking appointments, you know, Stuart.
Oh, I might need to check in on that, but Dan the Man walking away here tonight with a fantastic victory, James. It is one which will surely elevate him up the rankings here in Hot Pro Wrestling.
Cool, calm, collected. It's like the match never even happened.